Man, my face looks red. Being on Lemongan just 2 days now? I guess. Time goes so quickly by. Time is weird lately. For me, it is. Hours can feel like moments, and a single moment can feel like hours. Yeah, being here on Lemongan, Nusa Lembongan. Yeah, one of the Balinese islands. It's like home, you know. We've been here several times. I just noticed I said we again. Yeah. Well, we were here and I was here. And last year, yeah, it slowly became apparent that I was here and she was here as well. Yeah, sometimes I wonder, when are you gonna stop talking about her, about we? I mean, it's still so fresh. Um, I did notice things shifting slowly. The main reason I went to this island is to be on my own. Not having to tiptoe around someone who's pissed off at me. Yeah, I was talking with a friend about relationships, about the program of relationship. Uh, Usually it starts the moment, unless it's a one night stand, but a moment sex happened, then the relationship program gets activated. And it's a pretty elaborate program. We've been honing and fine tuning this program for so long, and yeah, I mean, in the in in Western countries, monogamous relationship is the norm. So nowadays things are shifting a little bit. It used to be man and wife, but even with lesbian or gay couples, I so often see one of them being very masculine and the other one being very feminine. Yeah, so doesn't really matter. Still, one is the guy and one is the girl. One is the husband and one is the wife. Doesn't really matter. So the relationship program gets activated as soon as yeah, you become intimate. And one of the things that involves relationships is yeah, like owning the other, like they're a thing you own. You have these rules around, yeah. At first, right, you become in love, you fall in love, and the other one is, wow, It's basically like psychosis. You're totally like on ecstasy. Yeah, love. I love you. I love you so much. I love everything about you. Please never leave me. And often it's not being said out loud, but it's thought, it's felt, it's there in the background. Yeah, I need to do everything for him or her not to leave me because life is pointless without you. And there's like a million love songs, and it's not love. That has nothing to do with love. No, it's fear based, right? The fear of losing you. And then there's also plenty of love songs about losing you, which is not about love at all. Again, no, it's again about, yeah, when you get attached to something, to some outcome, to someone, to needing the other. And there's nothing wrong with needing each other when it's like balanced, when there's a giving and receiving, and when giving is receiving, when you give unconditionally. That's how they came up with this whole concept of unconditional love. No, love is unconditional by definition, so there's no such thing as unconditional love. It's just love. And yeah, sharing love, your self love, your love of yourself, yeah, taking care of you, being responsible for you, being aware of your needs, then you can share this with someone. And yeah, then there's these programs running, which includes many pitfalls like the caretaker or the parent child dynamic. If you grew up with parents that were not really adults, they were just big children, then there's this whole parentification thing. I need to take care of you because you're not really taking care of me. And then you grow up and you find someone who resembles your mom or your dad. And of course, you fall in love because, yeah, the other represents something that you used to love or you used to need. And then you're in this cycle, the loop. Incarnation after incarnation, generation after generation. We've kept repeating this over and over and over again like it became a groove. And the groove deepened and deepened, and then at some point it's so hard to get out of the groove. It's like impossible to get out of the groove because it's the norm. It became normal. This is how you're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to do. But yeah, then I started studying other cultures, the whatever, anthropology. I was always already so interested in psychology, and then I noticed like but cultural, it changes psychology. It changes how people react and respond to each other. So there is this tribe in Africa somewhere, where which is not what's it called? yeah, it's not about, it's not based on male domination, but it's female domination. A matriarchy. So the women there are allowed to have several men, and outside of every house, of every hut, there's a nail in the on the wall, and all the guys they carry around a walking stick, and uh, when then the man visits the woman, he hangs his walking stick outside on the nail, so everybody knows, ah, uh, she is occupied right now. It's funny how different cultures show that there's probably infinite possibilities. And yeah, then then there's this. There was this TV program of a Dutch lady documenting uh, how different cultures deal with sex and marriage. And I think it's China, they have this walking marriage where the, the as soon as you become a couple, you start living with your mom and dad. I'm not sure if it's the guy or the woman who stays with the family, but and yeah, they have very little privacy. I don't know exactly. It's maybe a bad example. A better example is the Uganda. How uh, you know when you're around 13, then your hormones starts to change, and the girl slowly becomes a woman, and a boy slowly becomes a man, and they have this initiation where as a girl you go to your uncle, and as a guy, as a boy, you go to your aunt, and she will teach you, or he will teach you, the ropes, the yeah, how to have good sex. And in their culture, it's like totally normal. We would definitely be jailed and yeah, because of it's age inappropriate, and it's this and this, and yeah, what about incest and all these things? Yeah, you know, if you only live inside your your culture, and if you've never experienced any other culture, then you have no idea there's other possibilities, and you have no idea that other things might just be as normal. So when you grow up like me, already feeling the odd one out, and I never felt like the black sheep. I never felt like I was the one doing it wrong. No, quite the opposite. I was always feeling like the one who understood life a little bit better than yeah, my family, because most of my family is just hardworking people surviving. Uh, yeah, they have this saying in my family: "As a dime, you will never be a dollar." That's a horrible program. That's a horrible conviction. Like, no matter how hard you try, you will always be unsuccessful. You will just be small. Yeah, of course, I took on many of these convictions as being normal until I started investigating. Uh, do I also have to adhere to the norm? Do I also have to agree with it? And yeah, I soon found out no, I don't. So I had a girlfriend, basically just my sex partner, good sex. But yeah, at some point, her younger sister also was slowly becoming sexual, and we had such a good bond that at some point, you know, we grew really close. And of course, yeah, that's not done. It's not allowed. How could you? You know, that's just that's just love, and that's just maybe lust, and also, yeah, just being, experimenting, experiencing life as it is, stepping out of the box and breaking the law, breaking the law. No, it's even difficult to talk about these things because I know people are so quickly to judge you. Yeah, so you talk about this, so you must probably be like a pedophile, or you must be like this. But that's basically just two things: fear of the unknown, and fear of not belonging, fear of being expelled, because we used to live in tribes. Then, then the Anunnaki arrived. Uh, they did some little DNA experimenting because they needed a slave race to uh, to mine their gold. That's the story, right? Uh, it's a it's a different kind of history than you were taught in school, and I'm not saying that's the truth. No, I'm just saying it's a story, and yeah, I think it's an interesting story because it it kind of explains the missing link, how they could never find this evolutionary link between human, mm, maybe not even walking upright yet, or being in this caveman stage, and then suddenly it was like society. Suddenly there was like agriculture. Suddenly they were growing crops. They were growing weed and rice. And yeah. So what if it's true that alien race, a humanoid being from another planet or from somewhere else arriving here and seeing like, oh wait, here's like a being that I can use um, to work for me, to do the work for me. Um, if you look at society, it's basically how our society is still uh, built. You have the working class, and then you have the rich. And everything in between, of course, which they are trying to destroy right now in the Netherlands, in England. Yeah. Cut out the middleman because he's becoming too powerful. He's becoming too autonomic. Self ruling. So, yeah. I recently saw a video about how in nature, and especially in herds, larger group of animals together, let's say lions or wolves, there's always a alpha male and usually also a alpha female. And we humans, we totally lost touch with our alphas are no longer allowed. And I remember a video, a movie from a long time ago, a documentary where they locked up people or they put them together. I think it was in the jail, and I don't even know if it's male and females together, men and women together. I think it was, and pretty soon it was clear who was the alpha, and then there was the what they call the omega, uh, always challenging the alpha. And yeah, we humans are let me put it mildly, we are not so gentle with each other. So the omega started manipulating people, starting to create small groups around him or her. And yeah, so those who are like natural alphas, they were overthrown. And natural alphas, there's leaders. They're like leaders who know how to lead. But because they're in a situation where no one could escape, the leader could not really lead because he was not leading them anywhere. I think this was part of the experiment. What would happen? And maybe they didn't even know about alpha and all these things. But it was clear to me that the omega started like gossiping and using all kinds of techniques to gather people around him or her. And yeah, I think at some point even weapons were involved or something like this. And maybe someone even got killed, and that's why the whole show got cancelled. I don't remember exactly anymore, but I think this is also part of the relationship program, that you need to compete with each other. I mean, if you are an Anunnaki and you want to create a slave race, a worker class, then of course you want to program them in such a way, and they were good with genetics. You want to program them in such a way that they're obedient, and yeah, instead of rebelling against you, uh, any form of rebellion was, yeah, maybe just programmed out of us. So instead of rebellion, they created this competition, competing with each other. I was just watching when I was doing my work in a cafe where I drink my coffee, um, and on the screen there's a lot of Australians on these islands. So there was Australian. I think it was just rugby. Yeah, but yeah, I was laughing at it, and the guy behind the counter asked me, "What are you laughing about?" I said, "Yeah, this is so stupid. See a couple of grown men throwing a ball around, and then when they succeed to get the ball behind the line, they go, yeah, look at me. It's like little children. It's so childish. It's so ridiculous." And yeah, it's what we call competition, and we feel good. Yeah, look at me. I had a ball and I passed everybody, so I could put the ball behind the line. Wow, look at me. Uh, Sometimes, now it's a lot better than it used to be, but a long time I had no faith in humanity whatsoever. I was like, okay, so we were these apes, or these cavemen, and then suddenly we were like the Anunnaki magic, and suddenly we were like, yeah, 100,000 years ahead of natural evolution, and we stayed that way for so long. All right, uh, yeah, and now, uh, well, this shift is happening, and that's why I call these videos, these episodes. It's not like you have to watch one before you can watch the other. No, it's all standalone. But I created a playlist where, yeah, they're all, you know, from the same era, from the same period, all connected. So if you watch uh, all of them, no, I just created a playlist where I gather all these videos together. I used to, before I had like the daily life reports. Season one was like a full arc. Was nice to get this channel started, to get in this mode of recording a video every day, and then Daily Life Report season two started, and then also the reality check episodes where I dive deeper in one subject, and it's a different vibe. It's so I created playlists. So if you find this interesting, you know where to find other interesting videos. It's just it's not Netflix, it's not that you have to watch episode one to make sense of episode two, etc. No, you can enter sideways and then just see, this is part of a collection of videos. Might be helpful if you're new to this channel. All right. Uh, Something else? Yeah. Just look at the thumbnails. You know, every thumbnail image is pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, it's hot here. Yeah. Thank you for watching. And see you around.